Hey peeps, this is like a video where I'm going to explain a few things and kind of hopefully someone who views it might be able to answer something I'm asking here. Okay, as far as drugs go, and we're not talking about caffeine, and we're not talking about like medications that like doctors prescribe and stuff. For most of my life, all I've done is like marijuana and marijuana related products like the keef that some Budbusters will collect for you so you can use it, and the odd time the pieces of hash that people sell when you can find it. And then I've done some psilocybin trips in the past, magic mushrooms, but they don't come around that often as far as I know, because I've been told that when they do come around, they usually sell pretty quickly. But I've been on many trips. Usually when I buy some, it's like months to a couple of years till I get them again, so I haven't been on them for a while, right? And then in like 2005, 2006, I was trying out salvia a bunch of times. And then in like 2008 or 2009, tried out a few other legal substances that you can buy, which is sold next to the salvia and all that, like the lion's tail and whatnot, right? Because I've seen some stuff and I tried some of it out, not all of the stuff I've seen. And then this year, this one dude that isn't in my life anymore that I used to be able to get a hold of, outside the weed, that he would like get me and smoke me a little bit on and whatnot, which was stuff that only he would smoke. He would get me because I trusted him and respected him and all that, so he would get me the really good stuff that he would be doing too. And anyways, when he was around in my life early, the first so many months of the year, right, he was able to get me some acid and ecstasy. I could have got a couple other things, but I didn't want to try this stuff out because I don't want to try everything out, and some stuff's very fucking expensive. Right? Like I did the ecstasy a bunch of times. Don't care for it, so I'm not doing it no more. But as for the acid, the LSD, I do like that stuff, but if I don't do it in life, big deal. But it's not easy for me to get, so I don't expect to ever find it again, right? But like before I took it, I knew things it can do through like reading about it and hearing stories and whatnot, right? But I wasn't sure what it would do to me, so the first time I took it, it was under half a hit, and that did stuff for me. So I've been on a bunch of trips off it, but most of those trips have been like under half a hit, sometimes under a quarter of a hit, because I find that when I take it, sometimes a lot of stuff happens and sometimes not much happens. And hey, if I can get a small trip for, I don't know, maybe 2 to 4 hours or a little longer, that do stuff with a small amount being used, why not? Then you get more than 1 or 2 trips, you know what I'm saying? And since it's not easy for me to find. But anyways, the thing is, the very first time I took it, the next day nothing happened, but then that night I couldn't get to sleep for quite a while. And I remember, I think it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, all of a sudden I started to have a flashback, right? It might have lasted longer than this, but people say flashbacks are only like a couple minutes or whatever. This one, it was like at least 1 to 2 hours, because then I fell asleep. Like, I had to keep lights on. I knew nothing was going on in the dark, but the dark bothered me, and things felt weird. I couldn't get myself to listen to music, and things that I was seeing that weren't there were really bright and whatnot, right? And then all the trips like since then, no flashbacks. But for the most part, I just drink alcohol and smoke marijuana products. But I don't do that stuff every day and whatnot, right? But the thing is, I don't know if all of this has been happening this past week or not, but I want to know, am I starting to get like flashback trips again, people? Like, what's going on here? Because I'm sitting down watching TV, right? Well, a movie that's on TV, and for a couple seconds there, something close to my face was like there was like a dark black line or something, and it was like, whoa, shit, what's going on, right? And then I don't know if these things were happening this past week or whatnot, but I remember I was like typing on my, doing stuff on my computer, and the screen, it kind of, I don't know, it was all spiral and looking kind of weird for a few seconds. And then I swear to God, another time I'm sitting on my bed, and for a couple of seconds there, it kind of felt like the bed, I don't know, moved a little or something with me on it. So I'm just saying, I guess within like the last couple of weeks or so, there's been a couple times where out of nowhere, oh, I don't know, like once or twice, like I said, the computer screen kind of looked a little weird for a few seconds, or it looked like something was there in front of me for a few seconds that wasn't, and it kind of feels intense a bit. And yes, there was the one time where sitting on the motherfucking bed, it felt like it moved for a few seconds or whatever. So even though a lot of the trips I've done for LSD have been really small amounts, which sometimes do a lot and other times don't do much, right? I'm just wondering, am I starting to get more flashbacks now instead of just one? But the thing is, the very first one was quite intense and, you know, long, until I, like, basically passed out and fell asleep. But all these other things that recently been happening, that have kind of been intense and I've been feeling and whatnot, they're like a couple of seconds, but kind of hardcore. So I'm just wondering, would those be considered having a couple really quickly small flashbacks or not? And if they're not considered like a few second flashback or whatever, do you know what's going on with that? And on that note, that's just what I'm questioning and asking. Okay, peace out.